Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's RT here from Hxro Labs, and we're live. And the market is active as ever today on this Monday morning. Well, I should say Monday afternoon now, but a lot of altcoins rallying today. As you can see here, Bitcoin still doing the same thing, hasn't really moved, and yet there's a little shakiness just now. Let me show you what I mean here. We got Ethereum. Took a little dump off this level here just now as I'm getting ready. I'm like, oh my God, bells and whistles flying everywhere. Just want to make sure we're all here together. So if you are here with me in the YouTube lobby or over there on TradingView, say hello. And feel free to let me know how the sound is doing. Added a few tweaks to it this week to further improve your viewing experience. So let me know how that's working out. And we will keep an eye on Ethereum throughout the stream here because it's trying to get out of this triangle. It couldn't break down, so it broke up. It couldn't finish the move, so it's now broken down. And we're just trapped inside. Something's got to give here eventually. And I'll show you what we're looking at a little more in depth here on Ethereum. So I drew these up. Actually, this one is an old one. And let me get a slightly newer trend line here. It was actually last night and I was surfing around on the perps on Binance. And I saw we were parked right here, which is not a terrible location for a cheeky little short. Because your RR is so tight, your invalidation, right? If you just want to risk to that high last night, sick little spot. You're looking at 0.5%. Give me that 50x. No big deal. So that got my eyes on this, and then I went and added a little uptrend line here. Or just like a pennant. I don't know, really, the way I've been taught and the way I do these, you would take the pivot low and then just go to the next one. So in that case, you can see we had a little respect with it, but we broke down. And that's, this is in the past. So, hey, we got Soheil. I hope I said that correctly. Welcome. Good to have you to the stream. So, taking a look at Ethereum USD seems to be running the show today because Bitcoin hasn't really moved, but Ethereum just got a nasty 4-hour close. Could have been worse. Could have been below the trend line, although if you guys have been paying attention to anything I do, it's really not like a one candle close to invalidate a trend line. I want to see full market structure on the other side to avoid getting sucked into things like this. Perfect example right here. So you have the big old downtrend, which actually started, our peak back in February for the big Corona dump. And then it was this pivot up here that you would draw that trend line off of. So that's a downtrend, and we're in it for now. And if you were thinking, well, this candle close means that the downtrend is over, it did not age very well, right? It's sucked in. So you wait for market structure on the other side. It's a lot safer. Once in a while, you'll get left behind, very rarely. Most of the time, you get something coming up. You get that low, high, higher low, wait for the higher high. And that says we're ready to move on, but we're not yet, as you can see. So just something I wanted to start off with. I like this close though. This close is really nice. We're right inside here. It hasn't really, that's not a significant move, right? $5, $3. But the way it affected the market, let's take a look. A lot of the perps just unison dumped with it. Link fell off after dropping down from this rising wedge over the weekend, last week actually. Over the weekend, it kind of consolidated. So the Link fell off. Again, Bitcoin didn't really move, but all the other ones did. Basically, like every other perp just put in like that nasty red. Some more than others, as is the case, which is actually great news. I don't know about you guys. I love the decoupling of the market that we're seeing. Certain things staying flat, some things going down, some things going up. Now you can trade. before, I used to hate trading things versus USD because they all just seemed to move in unison with Bitcoin. It was really annoying. Where do you find an edge there? It was tricky, right? It was like the story of the last 2 years. So, yeah, I did see a little squeeze out just now on the perps. What do we got here today? Already smashed like. Yes, Mike. Good to have you. Appreciate it, brother. Welcome. Seaman, hey, how are you? Simon? Hard to read. Hard to read names. Real talk. As an elementary school teacher, I had to do attendance sometimes. Oh my God, bro. Right out of that Key and Peele episode. Jay Quellen. But it's fun. And I'm no longer a teacher, so that's even funner. Let's hit this market, guys. We're going to be looking through some shitcoins today, so I hope you guys brought your notebooks so you can share all your secrets, and we will chart them. I will do my best to share my own. First, let's take a look at some of the macro stuff. So this is one we've been paying attention to now for a little while. Hasn't really moved in all the little rallies, especially this morning. We saw, BLZ leading the day. Who else was it? Who took the cake today? It's like 84. Oh, Syscoin, of course. Syscoin, absolute moonshot. Beautiful. Smacked right into the short RLZ. I'll show you in a sec. And all that to say, we're still stuck in this sort of $95, $97 billion market cap range. And I actually did get an alert today for the 98 that I was waiting on. So I think the thing is that this data changes. Sometimes even after it's printed, it'll just be like, merp, merp, merp. So you got to be careful with this, but it did peaked ahead just a smidgen, or did it? It was above here earlier today. So like I said, sometimes within the day it's changing. This peak here was actually lower at first, then it came higher, and I was annoyed last week, if you recall, and now it's lower again. So, take all this with a grain of salt. And they even tell you that when you go to set an alarm. This alert will be based, right? And it's basically just saying that you're going to get really interesting results with your alerts, because I think things just change even after they've printed. All that to say that we are at a pivotal moment for altcoins. We're not out of the woods yet, even though it feels like we are. And we need to break this downtrend. That's why we're here. We're at this location to break the downtrend. And until I get that bullish market structure, I'm not ready to call moon, even though there's some really sick alt trades going on right now, and I definitely am trading them. But I guess the difference is if we were to break up from here, that's probably Ethereum breaking out that would do that. And if we do that, or Bitcoin moving up versus USD, if we do that, then face melt season, right? You're going to see a lot of things run. And then I can get a lot more aggressive with my sizing and risk tolerance. But, keeping a little bit of dry powder available, setting stop losses, being ready, because this is crypto. And as much as I want to call perma-moon, this is that spot where, and it's funny because if you think about it, psychologically speaking, what's everyone doing right now? I saw all the hashtags trending on Twitter today, cryptocurrencies, like this is a hot moment. And wouldn't that just be sad but perfect that this public FOMO starts to seep into the market right at this moment, this pivotal moment, and then we just get wrecked. So I don't think, I'm not going to say this is going to happen, that's going to happen right now, but this is what I'm watching, and it is pivotal. So that's the macro look on altcoins. And Myth has been a hot topic. If you guys want to check the description in the YouTube chat here, check the description. We have a free Telegram trading pit. It's been hot. Messiah's been in there this weekend. I think I saw Josh came in the other day. And I've been in there sharing charts. It's just a lot of juice in there. And it seems like, and I haven't been just market longing everything we talk about, but it seems like every day something gets mentioned, and then the next day everyone's like, oh man, supermoon. So it's pretty sweet. Highly recommend you join us in there. It's a lot of fun. And with that, let me check on the chat here real quick. Actually, I got a trusty little view for that. Well, where is that? There it is. Okay. So we've got Syscoin. Paul Jade banged out 2 doubles on Syscoin today. let's slide over there because it is sort of the hottest coin of the day. So the leaderboard award goes to Sis, which is exciting because that's one we've been watching on our Twitter for a good while. Oh, I got so excited I didn't change the right chart template. Here we go. Let's take a look at Sis real quick. Yeah, I put it at the top here on purpose because it's first. Look at that thing. Holy shit. Strong volume breakout. I think I saw something about an announcement. Didn't really look into it. Just trading price action lately. You know, it's nice to have an event coming up and then you can say that that's the thing that did it and that's where we're going to put our focus. But for now, focusing on price action. And if you look, just say, let's go to the Bittrex chart. I mean, look at this stuff. This is awesome. I love the short RLZs. So, I mean, zooming in, it's like, wow, that just blew crazy high. How could we have predicted where, you know, to have a target? But you just take this previous range or, you know, the recent high and call this the downtrend, the most recent one. And you draw this fib up to trap that. And we've got our retrace. Retrace north, right? They can go both ways. So 786 on the dot. I actually typically trade the sweet spot, so I probably would have been out right around here. But I mean, really nice setup. And that doesn't mean it's going to top here indefinitely, but it's a great sort of setup for the first stop. And there's no saying, especially if we break out of that altcoin downtrend, you know, next stop, moon, right up here, you know, that's like 4x from here. So we got to get through that downtrend first, one step at a time. But for now, I was very happy to see once again the fibs coming into play, and it's just ridiculous. They do it all the time. It's not just once in a while. It's almost every single time. I have a feeling, I mean, we know that a lot of the market's trading, probably 70-80% is algo driven. I have a sneaking suspicion that they use fibs to record, or excuse me, to program. Because a lot of SR levels end up right around fib levels too. So it's like chicken and egg, right? Did price stop there because it's a fib? And then because of that, it created a sense of resistance and support, buyers getting trapped, sellers getting trapped, stuff like that. And they all line up. Really crazy. Fun with fibs. Could do that stuff all day. I love fibs. Now let's have a look up here. We've got a request. Let's talk about ADA, SNX, and VET. And yeah, we've got lots. Nathan is in the house. Welcome, Nathan. All right, let's take a look. I got a little list prepared here. I mean, it's really just going to be a deep dive on shitcoin day because they're hot. And, you know, you got to strike when the iron's hot. We can talk about Ethereum. We can talk about all these things. But really, we want to figure out what are the altcoins doing? Which ones have moved too far? Which ones haven't moved at all? So a very quick and dirty myth chart earlier today, just to draw up some supports and resistances. I think this was on the daily, actually. Yeah. So here's what I'm seeing on myth. So we smacked into this first one, which would make sense. We gotta really zoom in. I mean, look at this thing. This thing got absolutely decimated. So the retrace rally very likely could be equally volatile. I'm not at all surprised that we have so many myth bulls in the house. Now, this would make sense to be our sort of first stop. Hold resistance, hold support, flip, gonna come test it. A lot of people exiting the trade there. It's been long since, you know, since this bullish market structure here, whatever you like. And I bet there's a fib extension there too. Let's take a look. Could be off this or off the next pivot. Yeah, kind of. Depends how you want to draw it up. Say to the low, to the first little breakout here. And you get that extension right up into the same area. So, okay, step one complete. And if we put together a little uptrend channel, yeah, that's kind of where we're looking at. So, pretty sweet. Say the move might be done for today, but who knows? I mean, I said that about SIS this morning. You know, not for the purpose of calling tops, but it had smacked into this resistance, the 4669. It was kind of trading up in here, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. Maybe it'll go to the next resistance sometime. And then I look back an hour later and I was like, nah, I think I'll just 2X right now. Because it's freaking alt season, baby. But that's crazy volume. So who knows what that was? That's got to be something. Because we've seen other coins break out, not do that right away. So let's see. I think myth for now. I mean, I have a hard time buying here because you guys, you know me, like to buy my retraces. But on the high time frame, and it's again, it's back to kind of actually what Masai was talking about on Saturday night. Depends how you trade, how you position yourself. If you're just getting into some high time frame bags because you're like, this project's sick and I know it's going to do well because humans are predictable and we're out here doing the same thing every cycle, right? Chase the pump, buy the unpumped thing, buy the narrative. And, he was talking a lot about rotating bags through these. And then once you're, you get a 5X, you get a 10X. Is it really worth staying in that one to try to squeeze out one or two more? Or do you rotate that into something new, right? So it really depends how you trade. I'm here every day, all day, sitting on my computer, on the charts, in the lab. And, some of these I'll wait 2-3 months. I'll give you an example. AGI, finally breaking out today. But it's been a really boring time. This was a chart from June. Things were doing okay back in June, but they certainly weren't like rah bull. Certain things have been going on, but the vibe was different. Right now, it feels like you could buy anything; it'll go up. Back here, it wasn't so much, and there's like, are we going to go to new lows? But I had drawn this up off this initial breakout. Got the bullish market structure. We had some bullish divergence, and then we made that high here. And I just thought, I'm going to just lay some bids down at 151. And sure enough, Bitcoin made a move that day. It was at June 1st. Bitcoin did something that day, I remember. What was it? Might not have been that extreme, but let's see. June 1st. Oh yeah, Bitcoin did this. Right, so when Bitcoin does things like that, in this case, this just monster BART that squeezed everyone up to like 10.38. Every altcoin got a sick fill. So, when I say I have a hard time buying myth here, it's not because I don't think it'll go up. It's just because these are the kinds of plays that I trade, and it's just a little less, I don't know, exciting, if you will. Certainly, you have to be early, you have to be on time, you have to be waiting. Oops, I did the thing again. Let's switch back over to AGI. So when that happened on Bitcoin, this is the fill I got. And this has just been a boring, it's been a boring couple months just sitting on this position. Finally now getting some movement. So this is a harder market for me to trade because I'm running out of these things that haven't moved at all. But I'll tell you a couple that I do see. Got Ambrosis. This is, this setup is not financial advice. This is my setup. Scooped to sum up just under 150. And thankfully it's moving today, which is sweet. I really want to it's like a 1 million market cap. So, let's get realistic about what I'm looking for here. This is just ridiculous. So, but it could be, same as AGI, it could be a month or two just chilling. And given the market cap and the volume I'm seeing, I actually haven't quite, I haven't put in the stop loss yet. It's an alert for now. Because I expect some volatility in Bitcoin and I want to know if it's going to be something like this, where, I don't want to get stopped out on like some little shithead move down like that. I do expect there's a decent chance we could head to this range low, and that wouldn't be doomsday at all, but I bet it would get a lot of stop losses hit and fills on bids. So yeah, I'm just working with alerts for now. I don't think we're going to go from insano face melt rips, which is a lot of, arguably what we're seeing right now. I wouldn't call them face rips. CIS was today, but 40%, 80%, that's not face rip. If you guys were here in 2017, you know what I'm talking about. When you rip a face, because you're just like, oh my God. You can't believe it. It's like 7x, 8x, 9x, one candle. What? So, I don't think we're going to go from where we're at now to just brand new lows and everything's dying just because of this breakdown to here. And I certainly, even if a breakdown from here, I think it'll take a little while for the alts to roll over a bit. on the higher time frame. So are we going to go to range low? Are we going to take this trend line? Are we going to fill this gap? And what would this do to alts? Would you be filling bids or would your stop losses be getting hit? These are questions that keep you up at night. So keep an eye on that shit, and let's keep going through some alts. Because as you can see, and not to keep going back to it, but I do want to make a point here. This can be your stop loss, or this can be your bid. What kind of trader do you want to be in the market, right? You got to be strategic, got to think ahead. You got to go to places where people are not, like Ambrosis. Pretty quiet this week. Little uptrend, big dump, nice bullish market structure, kind of quiet, right? You're not going to see this on a leaderboard, but it's a great time to be thinking about getting into it, in my opinion. Just an opinion, not financial advice. Nothing here is financial advice. It says so in the description, so it's legally binding. Same thing here with bread. Kind of quiet, kind of boring. Look at this volume coming in. What? Bullish market structure, bullish divergence, volume flowing in. And I've marked this up because that's the Gann 50/50, which I love to see hit half the time that this whole downtrend took, which was 196 days. And we'll cut that in half, so we got 98 days. It should bounce 50%. 50% half the time, 50/50. And if you think that's crazy, well, you're wrong. Because we're going to look at Adam. Adam smacked the 50/50 this month. In fact, it front ran it, but it still made contact with the circle, which I love. Just got to draw these up. And Adam, same kind of thing, right? We were watching it for a while, downtrend, bullish market structure, bullish divergence, took a little sweet time. This bearish market structure came in, and that's when I drew up the box. I was like, okay, I'm getting in on this pullback because on the higher time frame, we're looking like a reversal. Sure enough, now this actually stopped out anyone that was using this low as a stop loss. So that's why trading is very hard. Sometimes just parking capital in something that you know is strong and is likely coming back sooner than later can be easier. Adds more risk as well in some ways, but it can be easier. And we got, this is actually on the lower time frames. I was zooming in. Yeah, so not that I was shorting this, but, keeping an eye on some of these things, because at some point people got to pay themselves. It's very easy to get caught. You're like, I'm just going to hold this forever because it's going up. And then you end up nothing. You end up with no profit and nothing to roll into something else. So it was actually here I saw the bearish market structure come in, and there were some signs of bearish divergence on momentum. But price is just kind of hovering around here and is just about to kiss this 50/50 level. So as far as that goes, now let's see if I can find... This is when I learned about that rule. I don't know if you guys can read that. It's designed more for Twitter. Okay. Yeah. No. Mike running the show in the chat today. Keep holding it down there for me, buddy. Moderate. Now, this is the Gann 50/50. This is Bitcoin. So you get the whole downtrend and just drawing it up to see what would happen. 50/50, half the time, half the price. Look at that. Just straight into it. And then after that, I thought, okay, I'm going to draw this next one, half of this move up in half of that time. And sure enough, price plowed right into it. After last summer, remember, it was consolidating. Everyone's like, well, what's going to happen? I was like, well, let's see. Sure enough, right into it. And then I did it again just for interest's sake. And we actually front ran it on the China pump. So this whole 50/50 thing, it's like the vibrational signature of the market. It doesn't happen all the time everywhere, but it happens more often than not. So I use it as a targeting system now, especially after big downtrends or uptrends and you're looking for the reversal. Try to get that 50/50 and it's phenomenal. It's fascinating stuff. Now, let's see if we can get... Sorry, this light is bothering me. I'm going to just warm up my key light here real quick. Super bright today. All right. IOST. This is one I like. It has Lots of good markers about it. Again, you won't see it on the leaderboard right now, but let's zoom in and see why I'm looking at it. We've got uptrend, pullback, right into the pump chaser zone. Actually, let's draw that up to make sure. So at the time of the pullback, this was our high. Yeah, right off the 382, and then continued strong. Now, it just fell off there, and that's actually why I didn't touch it right away. But then you get this pullback right here, and it's just right into the RLZ. And new market structure coming in. Bulls in control. Look at the volume, right? All the big volume days are on buys. Got confirmed bullish divergence as it slid into this RLZ, tagging the pump chase zone again, and then just printed more structure. So the RR here is pretty decent if you think about it. I might even have it drawn up here, yeah. So, I mean, you could risk, I wrote this up as invalidation support because, you know, old high here. I mean, below here, it's like, okay, trend reversal, we're going down. But you could even try to run your stop under these lows as well. I think the strongest invalidation is down here, so you're going to have to take a little off the size if you want to get the same level of risk. But that would be like, what, 15%? It's not too bad for a low SAT coin. 70 mil market cap, so it's not like, you know, Ambrosis is like 1 million. Doesn't mean it has more pumpamentals, but IOST is one that I'm keeping my eye on. Looks real sweet. And again, you know, on days when everything looks like it just broke out, because there was a bit of that today. It's a lot of coins. I mean, AGI popped up. What was it? I think CTSI, like a lot of this stuff today. And it's easy to get caught. Power popped up today. RVN a little bit. So there was just this moment this morning where everything popped. Even TNT caught a little wake up. And comp, not so much. Right, so when that happens, and you look around, you know, obviously Myth did really nice today. Sys did all right. All right, so when that's happening, it's easy to get caught going, oh, I've missed all these things. Which one can I get a little bit extra on? You know, which one can I jump into for the free ride? Because it looks easy. And as humans, we tend, like all things in physics, to take the path of least resistance. But it's days like today that I just try to cool my jets, calm myself down, and go and find tomorrow's leaderboard through a systematic approach to the market. Now, this is singles. This was brought up on the stream, I think last week, 2 weeks ago. Paul J, who's here with us now. So say hi, Paul. Yes, this is the guy who banged out 2 doubles on Sys, you know, buying in off these lows. So he's a good trader, smart guy. Worked with him before, traded with him. And he likes singles, and frankly, I do too. I think there's, you know, it's not moving yet. It's certainly boring. If you're looking at leaderboards right now, it's not on them. But you got the bullish divergence sliding into the RLZ right off the 786. Bullish market structure confirms, and now back down here. So it is just taking its sweet time. But this is, you know, is this the kind of location that I like to be loading up on alts? Yeah, buddy. Especially if we're heading into find the thing that hasn't pumped yet season. Because this will be at the top of that list, right? And it's already started. Don't lie, you've already started doing it. Looking around, trying to find an altcoin that hasn't pumped just because it hasn't pumped. And that's sort of how alt seasons end. You end up getting everything to rally. And it's usually the shit that rises last, as we've seen recently in some of the penny stocks. Arguably. Not really a stock guy, so won't comment on that too much. Let's take a look at Binance Coin. I could tell you a whole long life story about Binance Coin. And how the last 2 times I got really excited about it were here. And I sold it here. Oops. I was very new back then. It was December 2017. Then the next time I got really excited about it was here. And you'll see why when you see where I draw my fib. Whoa, that's an extension. It was, yeah, off the previous pivot. So you get off the most recent pivot low, draw the fib. And so I was getting pretty excited about it here. I thought, okay, invalidation 786. And again, I didn't trade it. I don't know why. I was just kind of paper trading, looking around, feeling it out. Well, then I got excited about it over here. I think that was July 6th. So our first day on the stream, actually. Our first Hxro Labs live episode was July 6th. And we talked about it that morning. And then that day it broke out. Bullish market structure confirmed. Right off the 88.6. I mean, talk about a tight invalidation. I don't even know if I have it on here anymore. I do not. But I mean, look at this thing. I mean, draw it up how you want. You're already 4-1 just going to here at 11%. Obviously, you can trade this stuff on leverage, on margins. So when you have tight invalidations like 3%, you can kind of crank that up and maintain your portfolio risk, which is nice. And I think this is a logical stopping ground, at least for, you know, next stop kind of thing. So we flipped support at 18.5, pushed back up, kind of weak here, but it's Binance coin, you know, it's a multi-billion-dollar market cap now, so it's not going to move crazy fast. And, you know, we'll see. I mean, fundamentally, Binance is kind of big. LOL, sarcasm, very big. And they've got Binance Chain. So BNB is a gas as well as a fee reduction and all kinds of other little things. So it's safe to say they're doing pretty well. Matter of fact, let's look at their latest toy. SXP, the old swipe. Look at this thing, holy shit. So, yeah, not bad. And you can see I was trying to chase this thing here as far as just like for analysis purposes, trying to get some fib extensions drawn up, where are we headed next, some A, B, C, D harmonics, and it's just blown them out of the water. But the setup came in gorgeous. I mean, if you were watching this thing 9th, 10th, 11th, and you like market structure, this breakout and close was a really good signal. And not everything will just continue the way this has after that kind of a signal, but holy shit. So I'm guessing some people in here are in on SXC or SXP, excuse me. So what are we looking at? We're gonna have to go to an older chart. I think there is an older one. Qcoin. Yeah, so we want to get a little more historical data. And let's clean that chart. So naturally volume's coming in because Binance buying them and saying we're going to use them is a pretty sweet promo for a project. Rather bullish, I say. And it looks like we might be up at trendline resistance, or we just flipped it. Debatable. Yeah. So not a whole lot of information we can glean just from that weekly there. We're not overbought yet. And I think the daily might give us a little better info. Yeah, fibs. Excuse me, trend line's still about the same. So yeah, trend line resistance was sort of our first stop, which makes sense. Got a lot of that. And I mean, okay, so what's the market cap? It's like, it was 50 mil last time I checked. It's probably closer to 100 now. But if you're going to be Binance's new friend, and not just friend, like go-to card for Binance, 50, 100 mil seems kind of low, if I'm being honest. So let's stretch it out. What would an extended move from here be? Not bad. And if we want to play it safe, we could try to get a pump chase in. Look at that. It's already kind of came in. Oh, just to front run a little bit, 15.5. Now, I find when the 382 gets front run, assuming this does, I mean, it could still come down and tag it in a few days, but when it gets front run and just doesn't get its tag, it's really bullish. I'm willing, I wouldn't say I'm willing to chase, but I'm much more willing to chase if that happens. And I'll give you an example of when that happened recently, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I know that coin. So the 382 gets front run here. That's quite bullish. Typically, you will see the 382 get its tag. The fact that it didn't even make it there, internal strength confirmed, OBV trending up, MACD no signs of divergence, still embedded and overbought. So I said I'll show you one where that happened recently, and so I will. You can see it on VET. So if you were chasing VET, and after that breakout you thought, okay, I'm going to draw my pump chase fib, I'm going to catch that 382. Well, look at that. Got front run. Same thing. Right? So, and naturally the continuation was not bad. So keep an eye on those. If you do get a front run pump chase fib, you know, it doesn't mean like, oh, the first candle didn't hit it, so it's definitely got a front run. But generally speaking, when this happens and you get that, doesn't tag it, and then you get new bullish market structure, whew, hop on and stick your stop below this pivot low. So in this case, that would have been like here, and you could have gone right down to this pivot. All right, breakout. That's the confirmed bullish market structure. We'll zoom in so we can see a little better. Really nice setup. Now look, it's so easy to apply TA to old charts and say this is what you should have done, would have done. It's never that easy, but it's a good learning tool. And over time, you can apply these kinds of rules and back test them, or, you know, paper trade them to sort of forward test them, right? But you got this breakout right here, clear as day. It was even kind enough to come down and give you 1, 2, 3, 4-hour candles. So like 12 hours here to kind of snipe that 100 sat bid, friendly number too, so it would make sense. And then it was just, and I would argue that the hint of this to come was this right here, because I've seen it before. You don't get your 382, not even a tap, internal bullish sign. And then you get new market structure. Whew, look out. Pretty sweet. Good example from VET. Yeah, let's take a look at OMG. Nice to see you too, Jeff, and thank you for coming by to hang out today. Let's see what OMG is. Just, as far as I recall, it's living in the pump chaser zone. In fact, it just exited. Ooh, it's kind of cool. Look at that. So, as you guys might remember, before everything was crazy bullish during May, there was only a few things that had really gone nuts. OMG was one of them. Sort of maybe the pioneer of this little alt window. So easily forgotten now. Since the end of May, it hasn't done much. Been stuck in this little range. Let's take a look up for somebody who might already be in it. What is your potential reward using these fibs? Well, actually, interesting point. Let's just start there, because these fibs, they all go both ways. So do you see how the 382 is the first stop coming down? Can get a bounce there, can get a front run. Well, going back up, this is your 382, and look at that. Price just tapped into it. So, you know, can't tell you guys how much I love fibs. They really just should be the first and last thing you look at in a chart. At least for me. I can't live without them. They structure my whole world. So you have this SR area here as well. I would argue that it's the fib that created it, not the other way around. But let's put some more markups on this chart just to give us an idea. So it's pretty clear to see we have resistance there. Some old SR stuff going on over here. Next one might have been right here. Man, look at that. It's a fib level, not a coincidence. It's the 0.5. Well, okay, 0.5 is not a fib number, but it's more of a Gann number. I put it on there for the 50-50, but it's not a Fibonacci number. So let's just be clear about that as a definition, but it is on all sort of ready-made fibs, and the 0.5 gets a lot of play. So the short RLZ is all the way up at 37.60. Sort of the entry to that is the 618. I tend to just play with the 702s for the most part. It's the sweet spot's halfway between the 786 and the 618. So what do we see here? Well, I mean, you know me, I like this zone. if I was going to chase OMG, so to speak, we're in a really sweet little area here where you can now get some invalidation pretty close to your entry. I mean, it's still about 20%, so maybe not as close as I would have liked. But if you're risking up to the RLZ, I mean, I just like to say, okay, I'm at least getting 3 to 1. And there you go. So it's not horrible. Probably tighter ways you can invalidate. I mean, maybe you say, this is the breakout, and I don't even want it to visit this low again. So that's your invalidation. Higher risk that you'll get stopped out. But only 11% in this case. So you can have a larger position, maintaining the same 1 or 2, whatever percent risk to your port that you want. Pretty sweet. So tighter invalidation increases the chance it'll hit, but decreases the chance or decreases the risk to the position, so you can increase the size. So it's really a bit of how you want to play it. Personally, I would at least take the 0.5 as a risk. But it's nice to have 3 lows of protection too. And you just downsize your position a bit, get your same risk on the port, 3 to 1. That looks pretty good to me, but who knows? ADA, absolutely. Let's take a look at ADA. So this is one I've been watching for market structure fail. No, not calling tops, but things go up, things go down, things go up, things go down. This one has gone up. I want to know, is it going to continue because there's still strong volume coming in, or is it ready to just cool down, maybe pull back here? Because you can trade this one on margin too, so obviously there's ways to short it as well. I'm always looking both ways. So generally looking for longs in a market like this because that's the momentum of the market right now. But I'm not opposed to any good trade if it presents itself. So that's what I was looking for. We did come up into this fib extension, which makes sense that this is sort of where we'd think to stop. We tagged that sweet spot that I always look for. Really nice trade in here, just off this breakout. Actually, the trade is probably like the sickest trade. It's probably right here where we put the low, the higher low, breakout, retest, and go. Even a continuation you could have added on. And then, then everyone's talking about it. There's no nicer feeling than a bunch of people like market buying your bag, right? That are like, oh, I can't wait to get this thing. And you're just sitting there with that smarmy look on your face, like, yeah, I bought that last month when it first broke out. So trying to find those, but sometimes you don't get them, and there's continuation plays like the pump chaser fib that you can use. Now I've got to get that tool off. I want to show you guys TNT. This is another little stinker. I don't know what happened here. This is so suspect. This is not organic, right? This was off the PBC pump, like Tika Tuari's announcement. He's saying, oh, TNT is going to be the new thing, 5 coins to 5 million or whatever it was, that report. And then it just completely got decimated. And naturally, nobody wants anything to do with it, so it's been sitting here. But it is on the 786. And it could wake up. And the reason those lines are there is because I was drawing this the other day thinking to myself, this thing's not doing anything right now. Don't know that I'm in a big rush to get into it. But if it broke above here, maybe it's ready to move. So 419, let's call it 420. I'll say greater than. Now it will remind me, and I'll just say confirmed MS, question mark, and that'll remind me to go look at that. That's how you can use alerts to help yourself catch optimal entries so that, this is a lower entry, but it's not really moving anywhere. Confirmation that it might be ready to move is a break above here, and then I can go back and look at it and see what I got. So TNT, it's on the radar, not touching it yet. Wabi, I really like Wabi on a fundamental level. We're over there doing counterfeit stuff in Japan and in China, I believe. They got a lot of Chinese partnerships and stuff. And I think using the platform or the app kind of pulls tokens out of circulation. So there's not a burn factor, but sort of a lockup factor that comes with the growth. So yeah, my quick 2 cents on fundamentals. I liked it. And yeah, short RLZ. It's up there. Got some decent size potential. Now, arguably, we just put in market structure again here, which is kind of nice. Low, high, higher low, breakout. So, note to self, go look into Wabi after the live stream today, because I like that one. Like, I like that setup where you've come in, you've got your breakout, you retrace right off the 618, standard, continuation. God, that's annoying. Arguably, this was another little bit of structure. So there was even a trade in here probably in the 4 hour where you get this structure coming in. Dun, dun, dun. Right, and look at that. 1, 2, 3 chances to get into that. And now we're just kind of climbing the stairs. And look, this is that dump we got just before the show. Seems like so many things just took this big old dump here. It's by the dip season until it's not. I don't know how else to put it. There's going to be little shakes along the way. In fact, you know, all these little shakeouts. Let's go look at some of the big winners. Well, fine. Let's just go back to ADA. I mean, big shakeout. Right? Along the way, it's not easy. It's easy to look at some of these things and be like, oh man, I wish I had that. It's so easy, but not easy. Gotta be able to hold through some of these. Look at that pump chaser fib. Woo! Keep going. So, yeah, Wabi. It's on my radar. What else we got? Oh, Pascal. Good to see you there. Who dumped what? Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I've met that guy at a conference once. Tika. Seems like a really good dude. He was funny. He was at the Aeon launch, Aeon X. Really good guy. Like, we were hung out, chatting with some people. He's telling all the jokes. Very likable. And he just laughed when we suggested that he dumps on his followers after announcing these coins. He's like, guys, like, I have millions of dollars invested in crypto and I stash my private keys in banks around the world. Like, I'm in for the long haul. And he kept going on about how he sold too early during the dot-com boom, you know, after the bubble popped, which he equated to 2017, that, you know, the 2000 bubble. And he said, you know, things like Amazon stock and all that, he sold them. And obviously now that didn't age well. So he laughed, he scoffed at the notion that he would be just pump and dumping with his followers. I mean, the guy, again, assuming you believe what he told me, but he's like, I own businesses, I own buildings. This newsletter I do is just a side thing, and I own a fuckload of crypto. So I believe him. It does seem a little petty to have, you know, a $3,000 a year newsletter and then announce a coin like this just so you could make like whatever that quick buck is, a few hundred K, maybe a little more. Probably could have made more. I mean, maybe he's just really good at doing this and telling the story about how he doesn't do that. I don't know, but I believed him. I also didn't get dumped on TNT, so maybe I'm not as salty as somebody, you know, could be. CTSI, loving this trend line. If it breaks out, I would expect it to move really quickly up into these mid to upper 700s. So keep an eye on CTSI. Really nice flip of support here. You can, you know, our Twitter, we were talking about this when it broke out, thinking, okay, if it does hit this upper trend line, let's get that flip on support. We want to see bullish divergence, which we did. As it slid down, it's really important. You know, you don't want to just be in a good location. You want to be going in the right direction. So the down, you know, the trend here on the 4 hour was down. You know, low, high, lower, low, lower, high, right? Like, we're trending down. So you want to catch that on support, but also see signs that it's done trending down. And to do that, you can look at the MACD. And there's a whole bunch of other momentum indicators. They all measure roughly the same thing, the speed or the momentum of the move. And in this case, the momentum was higher here. Price is here. The price made a lower low, but the momentum was actually slower. MACD made a higher low, giving you a hint that perhaps the move was coming to an end. And then, in fact, when the MACD crossed bullish up here, higher than this middle point, that is the confirmed bullish divergence. And sure enough, we got bullish market structure shortly after. So really nice example of a picture perfect SR test, SR flip, right off with bullish divergence to let you know that yes, it is sliding in here nice and slow. I can safely, or saferly buy it right here, and my invalidation is nice and tight. So you get it right off this, and look at that. Oh my God, it's a sweet spot too. Love that. So you guys know how I feel about my 702s. Tap, tap. And that's really, maybe that's a good takeaway for today, as we actually are 8 minutes. Holy crap. Where did this hour go, guys? Oh, I was like, we're about halfway through the stream here. Freaking 8 minutes left. But a good takeaway then, I guess it is a takeaway. It's the end of the stream here coming up. A good takeaway is to have these rules, right? If you can trade with rules, then you don't need to watch leaderboards, worry about what you're missing today. Because I trade with rules, and I still am like, damn it, I wish I was in, what was that one, BLZ today that absolutely ripped faces. Like, I do wish that I had some, because it would feel good to get that dopamine rush today, to see the gains today, right now. But there's nothing for me here. I can't go and buy this and get those gains today. In fact, the overwhelming probability is that if I continually do that, I will get the losses tomorrow or whatever. This thing is trending up strong, and it probably has a lot more room to go, but you see what I mean? It doesn't fit my plan. It doesn't fit anything I can do. So I'm gambling if I buy this, hoping, like buy it here, hoping that, I'm going to move up. I mean, this is where I would draw my fib, see what kind of targets we can get. Look at that. Pump chaser zone goes both ways. Love it. So you get the short RLZ, like, yes, there's definitely room up here, right? But the RR is like 1-to-1. So I'm like risking to get there, and like, where's my invalidation, right? Price could come here. I guess my invalidation would be this pivot low. It's 1.75. It's not very high. If I'm going to take that, I'd have to be right like 75, 85% of the time to make any money in the long term. So, example of that. But instead of staring at BLZ and being sad, I could go to my blue list, which is a list made up of names. Not all of them are bangers, but like, look at Mana. Mana's just parked. It's in a location I'm allowed to buy. Let's see. Okay, so this is drawn off of here. It's the short RLZ. This is drawn off the bottom because it is the main RLZ, from this bottom low to this high. Yeah, I mean, we just tagged the sweet spot, a few days ago, Thursday or Friday. So, I mean, this thing is parked and doesn't look as sexy right now, but it might. And if it does run and it decides to, and then that's the leaderboard, and everyone's thinking, man, I want to get some Mana. And I'll be laughing because I'm parked right here, right? And I don't think it couldn't. I mean, this is going to be that season of, this could be that season of find what hasn't pumped. Mana's friggin' parked. Looks good. So let's get some volume. I want to see some volume rolling in. The OBV is just rising, making new highs. Meanwhile, price is fairly stagnant. So that's sort of internal bullishness. So I'd say if there's a couple of names to chew on today, one of them is certainly Mana, Decentraland. Kind of a cool project too. Can't talk to it too much, but I have seen screenshots of the digital world that is created, and you can buy land in it and stuff. I don't know. But video games are huge, and we'll see. So, everyone's looking at the leaderboard, and I'm thinking, let's go find something parked in the RLZ, showing bullish divergence as it slid into it, showing bullish market structure breaking out, OBV rising. And I think down here, it's not looking too healthy right now from that view, but the VPVR is looking quite healthy. That is to say, it's looking filled in. Probably want to see it on the daily. This fib is miscolored. Let's get the gray in it. Yeah, I think I changed the color a little while ago. I haven't been back to this chart in a while. There we go. A little better. Get rid of that one. All right. So yeah, VPVR looks ready. It's another way of saying healthy, right? You want to see that parabola sort of saying we've explored the range and we're ready to move on with our lives. So yeah, love mana. What was that other one? It said note to self, remind me. Oh yeah, Wabi. So Wabi and mana. I have to write these things down. So where I find things on stream and then I do a few things after the stream's over and then I don't go check them. Wabi, mana. So, and then, you know, the fun thing about this stream is we're on 3 days a week and we can check back. I mean, we'll come and see. And it might be 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks away and it'll be like, hey man, remember we talked about mana? Oh, it got so wrecked or like it rallied. So I love this. It's like a little stamp on time and we'll take a look at it and see how accurate these setups ended up being in this particular case. They just have to be right like less than half the time. In my trade journal, my win rate right now is like 52%, but my average RR on a setup is like 4, 5, and 6. So pretty much half of them are hitting, but the RR is so high that the ones that lose, you know, the ones that win, they win like 3 or 4 times more than the ones that lose. So if you have enough, you know, if you stretch out your risk reward, I'll give you one last example as we wrap up today. You know, so I'm risking 4.69%, but I'm going to gain, you know, potentially 20%. So my 4.3 to 1. I could be wrong a lot here, and I just have to be right once, pay all that back. And if you're right 3 or 4 times in a row, like this kind of particular alt window is allowing, that's where the gains get big. It's exciting. Our tokens charted against BTC USD. Yeah. It depends on the season. Actually, that's a really good question, and I got a chart for it. And let's go look. Well, we're getting close to the end, but I'm going to give it one more minute. Really hope it doesn't auto end this stream. That'd be really so weak. I don't think it will. But fair warning, it might. Let's take a look at the dominance chart. So in this risk on window, which I clearly haven't updated in a couple of days, in this risk on window, I'm trading my Bitcoin away for alts. In the risk off window, I am not, because Bitcoin is outperforming, right? So that's why I created this chart. It gives me kind of a seasonal look, or, you know, seasonal, but as far as alt seasons and stuff, you can look into these windows and say, okay, Bitcoin is trending down in dominance. Altcoins are probably doing pretty well. I'm going to start thinking about giving my Bitcoin up for some altcoins. Oh no, Bitcoin's rallying or altcoins are tanking. And so this will end up eventually reversing. And then we're into a risk off window and it's like, okay, I'm going to get rid of some of my altcoins, most of my altcoins, and I'm going to be in Bitcoin and I'll be trading the market that way. So that's a really good question. And the preference for me entirely depends on the state of this chart. And there is a time to sit in your hands, let things go. There's a time where trading is hard. I think in the last week or two, we've actually seen one of the easier windows where number go up, buy, sell, number go up. And that's really nice. So let's enjoy it while it lasts. Lastly, I think the thing to take us above the market cap breakout that I was talking about right here is going to be this pair. We really need this pair to do well. It's going to be the one. If we're going to move up, it's going to be because ETH breaks out. So it is broken above. It's now turned this resistance into support. We've just tagged it. ETH has no interest. You know, if it starts moving though, it's not going to take long. It's not going to take much. And people are going to go, oh yeah, DeFi runs on Ethereum. That must be really bullish. But it's funny, no one's talking about the bullishness on Ethereum from this DeFi play because price hasn't really moved to reflect it. But we are at this pivotal spot, and I guess we'll end on this because it's a nice bit of a high time frame view. Not super high time frame, but the daily. I mean, we're just squeezed right up into these two levels, and there's nothing that says we couldn't just trickle out the end and this is just a couple of lines, but my hunch is that we'll get some kind of move out of here. If it's the move, or if it's just a little move. But keep an eye on this. So if you want some alerts to set, so you're like, okay, this is significant. I think a break below, I mean, certainly 230. I actually had my alert a little higher because I want to, I want to see it coming ahead of time. But generally speaking, like a break of 230 is pretty bearish as far as, getting out of this consolidation. Doesn't mean we're going all the way, but it's not great. And a break above 240 would be pretty bullish. And because we're so consolidated here, because we're so coiled up, these breaks are more significant. It's giving you maybe a hint of a larger move coming in. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. I definitely, I definitely want to see ETH go up. No shit. But I want to see this. I mean, this chart looks so bullish, and we're seeing DeFi names go crazy. So why not ETH? And if it does go, it's going to have a lot of legs because there's going to be a lot of people, and it's a very easy narrative to buy because we've just seen what's been going on with a lot of these things. So that's all I got today. As far as crypto talk goes, so a couple of names here, and we'll be keeping an eye on things like Ambrosis, like Walton Chain, Aeon, a couple uptrends for you. This is not the right chart template. That's why these don't have the ink. So we'll figure all that out after this is all done. Let's see, back here to Bitcoin. It's nice to end on Bitcoin, so let's do that. EQ tap right up into this short RLZ, right? Broke down, we've squeezed up. I'm not gonna say I'd be shocked at all if the next play is down to range low. So just be aware that could be some dips in altcoins, there could be some fills of bids, it could be some stop losses hit. So you got to decide what kind of trader you want to be, how you want to play the market. And if we lose this range low in this trend line, then look out below. That's pretty much the way I see it. And we'll be back on Wednesday with Nick and I on stream. So if you're around at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, hit us up, join us. We'll be in here doing a bit of the same. Nick has a really good look, analysis, and a lot more focused on the FA in the market, and a lot more sort of pulse. I'm a bit more of a chart guy these days, so looking forward to having him on the stream to talk stuff about things. And until then, everybody, play from a position of strength and have a wonderful day.